Hi, I'm Sherry from Whole Circle Studio and welcome to the Botanical Beauties Block of the Month and Quilt Sew Along. Today I'm going to give you some tips as you begin to make your 12th and final Botanical Beauties block, an abstract dianthus. In addition to this video, remember to refer to the tips included in the pattern as well as the links below to additional video tutorials. Let's get started. For our last Botanical Beauties block, there are a couple of subtle areas that I want to point out, specifically when joining pieces. I have a couple of tips that will make the assembly easier. So pay close attention to the dots when determining what points to join. So let's take a look at what this might look like in the wreath version. Here I have paper pieces A and B. So here again, I want to look for these two dots and make sure that I align those when sewing them together, and then of course the other end. Once those are joined together, just like I showed in last month's video and previous videos, I like to again extend this line. If I'm starting here and sewing, once A is joined to B, I'll start at the edge, go down the line. Here's the dot where they're all going to be aligned on, and I'll just continue straight. It might look a little bit funny, but it definitely makes your block more secure. So the equivalent of the A to B for the grid is N to O. That looks a little bit different. For the grid N to O, our dots are up here that will align. And then, of course, we'll align the other corners as well. There's also another critical alignment here and here. Same thing I should have showed on A and B. You'll notice a dot here and here to align as well for the petals to be aligned. So same thing back to N and O. Once these points and these points are aligned and it's fabric sides together, I'll again start at the edge of the paper. I like to start at the edge of the paper, go down the line, and continue that line to the edge of the paper. Again, back stitching or stitching in place at the beginning and the end to secure those stitches. I have one last tip to share with you for this block, and I think this tip will be helpful for you as you tackle your future foundation paper piecing projects. Before you pin your pieces together, so here I'm joining this piece with this piece, I take a look at the line I'm going to be sewing along and determine which paper piece I want on top to use as a guide for the line. Sometimes when we're paper piecing, things could get a little bit murky when there are some extra seam allowances like this one in the way. I may not be able to see the end of the line here. That's perfectly normal. So it might be that I could see if I have the other piece positioned on top, I have a nice clear view. So I will make sure that when I put my correct sides of the fabric together, I position this piece on top, since this is the one I want to use as a guide. And that way I can take my pins out easily. I have a nice view and I can go from there. So be on the lookout for this type of clues as you're sewing together your foundation paper pieces. I can't wait to see your blocks and quilts come together. Thank you again for being here and for sewing along with us. I hope you enjoyed making the Botanical Beauties blocks as much as I did. And I've also loved seeing your progress. Be sure to continue to share using the Botanical Beauties hashtags found on the patterns so we can all check out what you're working on. You can also email me photos of your progress at any time. My email address can be found in the patterns. Happy sewing and quilting!